Liverpool, Stephen Warnock, with those 4 alterations, are looking to make it 6 wins out of 6.
Yeah, and they'll look to put this game to bed as quick as they can. They'll feel that this is a real opportunity to get qualification done tonight. It's a small stadium, it'll be an intense atmosphere, but if they can play controlled football like they have so far under Slot, they'll find that they can quite possibly make this a comfortable night early on.
Benoit Bastien, who is the French referee, gets the game underway with his shrill of his whistle. He's in like an ultra blue referee's jersey, as Liverpool in this first half are playing from left to right as we look. As Van Dijk, left of the halfway line, gives the ball towards Curtis Jones. And whilst Liverpool have been perfect in this Champions League campaign so far, Girona, who had such an excellent season last year, they finished 3rd in La Liga to qualify for their first ever season of European football. They have struggled in Europe's elite competition. They have lost 4 of their 5 games so far, and they will struggle to even reach the playoffs that, remember, are from positions 9 to 24 in this single league phase of all 36 sides. Liverpool, though, sitting pretty, and they know that a win will guarantee them a place in the knockout stages. And that means that they'll not be playing those 2 additional games in February. That's certainly the incentive, and already Liverpool are seeing a lot of the ball as Girona will just drop off, and Alexander plays the ball. Alexander-Arnold into to Gravenberch, able to turn. Nunez being tracked by Romeo. Curtis Jones trying to get away from Brian Hill. Asprilla picks it up now for Girona, but they're going to come under pressure straight away from Liverpool's pressing, and Liverpool in fact with a turnover there. Now it's with Nunez. Man over is Diaz on that far side, the left. Diaz enters the penalty area, comes outside the box, pokes it back towards Gravenberch, chips it forward, and then it's claimed by Gazzaniga.
Yeah, beautiful run from Mohamed Salah, out to in, playing off the shoulder of Daley Blind, and then it opens up that space on the right hand side for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Blind doesn't know where there's a stick or twist. He stays, and the ball's just overhit to Mohamed Salah, but Liverpool dominant in the early stages with possession.
You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also available on the BBC Sounds app, and Radio Merseyside are also taking our commentary here in Girona as the ball is flicked on by Salah. They go back to Gazzaniga. Those that have seen a lot of Girona have been told of an observation about Gazzaniga, who's all in green, that he's got hard hands, so therefore look for him spilling it, and for Liverpool trying to take advantage to follow up. I remember Nigel Martin years ago telling me about if your goalkeeper's got soft hands, the ball sticks. Gazzaniga has got hard hands, and Liverpool will be aware of that.
Interesting. Keep an eye out for that one.
We will.
Have you ever said that before?
About soft hands?
About hard hands?
Well, soft hands possibly, yeah. Yeah. Don't do much washing up. I've got hard hands. Corner kick to Liverpool, 0-0, 3 minutes played. And the French referee has spotted another pushing. He's calling Daley Blind towards him. Gravenberch is also there. Of course, they'll know each other extremely well from their Ajax days. You can throw in Donny van der Beek as well for that. Gravenberch was saying last night that he hasn't been speaking to the two of them in the build-up to this game. Robertson with the in-swinging corner. Oh, and Gomez. He's never scored in his senior career, and that was almost the moment, but the hard hands of Gazzaniga pushed the header over the crossbar.
Oh, didn't they just? What an effort from Joe Gomez, but Gazzaniga, it is straight at him. He should deal with it, and he gets them hard hands to it and pushes it over the bar.
They're ready to take another corner kick again on this near side. It's another in-swinger, punched away by Gazzaniga, who was clattered into. It was Van Dijk who was trying to get on the end of it. Van Dijk's actually picked up an injury just to the base of his back as Liverpool, with a ball out towards the Szoboszlai, downward header, cleared up in the air by Wampe at the back, and then Hill running back for Girona. And at the minute, they can't get on the ball, the Spanish side.
No, they can't put a pass together. Just such is the press from Liverpool, and also the quality of the players on the ball, looking so relaxed in the way that they're playing.
Joe Gomez without a goal in 273 appearances before tonight for club or country, and he must have thought when he connected with that corner kick that this is it, but then Gazzaniga denied him. 4.5 minutes played, still 0-0. Szoboszlai on the far side, into the feet of Gravenberch. Girona, incidentally, are Liverpool's 138th different opposition in their illustrious history when competing in UEFA competition. And they are the 13th different Spanish side that Liverpool have faced in Europe.
Well, one thing that Liverpool fans or any football fans like doing is travelling to different places, and what a beautiful place this is. I mean, it's an hour away from Barcelona, but what a beautiful sort of small town or city it is.
Ball caught by Gazzaniga. Don't wish to continue the theme of soft hands and hard hands, but our editor this evening, Tim Peach, has said you need to have soft hands in cricket, wicket-keeper or slips.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not a cricket fan, so
no,
I wouldn't have known that.
That was probably why I was always cast off at third man whenever in my cricket days. Certainly wouldn't have seen me in the slips or the gully. With a throw for Liverpool, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez towards Van Dijk. I've got to say the atmosphere is tame. It's not hostile at all. Sometimes, you know, you think of like a lower league FA Cup tie where the crowd can be really on top of you. I guess because three sides are open, this stadium, it lacks that intimidating factor. But also the way that Girona have started, it's been a very comfortable 6 minutes for Liverpool. Although here is Romeo now, still with that trademark shaven head, and he's caught in possession by Gravenberch. Liverpool up towards Diaz, challenged there by the right back Frances, and Diaz will get a free kick. Whistles of derision from the Catalunya support, and it will be a free kick to Liverpool.
It was a good job Frances make the foul, because if he doesn't, it's going through to Andrew Robertson on the left-hand side, who's gallivanting down that left, and Diaz actually didn't try and play the ball, just tried to block the defender to allow it to go out to Robertson. But Liverpool just very, very calm in possession, just making sure that they get at the heart of this team, and they have again. Ball
threaded through, Nunez, he's onto that, and then he hits it first time. It was a fearsome effort. It'll go eventually out for a goal kick off the legs of the Uruguayan, but he made the run into the inside left channel, got it out from his feet very, very quickly, left-footed ball, and Gazzaniga was equal to it.
Yeah, the run's absolutely brilliant from Nunez, and he's so often caught offside, but he runs from deep. This time he uses his pace to time that run. I just think he's got to strike it hard and low across the goalkeeper, and maybe hope that the goalkeeper spills or it trickles into that far corner. But so often what we see with Darwin Nunez is he often goes for that power and tries to beat the goalkeeper with just pure pace of the ball.
Well, you think about it, 7 minutes in, and Gazzaniga, who's played against Liverpool 3 times before in his career and he's lost all 3, and the 32-year-old Argentine has been tested twice. Daley Blind looking for the ball over the top, looked offside against Danjuma, and indeed there is the flag over on that far side.
A puff of the cheeks there from Danjuma. He felt that was the right ball, just playing on the shoulder of Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk. Really good line from the Liverpool defenders.
Here is Robertson, left of the centre circle. Gomez leaves it for Van Dijk, and now they pass it again across the back. Curtis Jones has actually gone out wide, far side the left on the halfway line, and then so Robertson's quite narrow in that respect. Back with Van Dijk in the centre circle. Jones still provides the width on the left. Salah stayed out wide on this near side, but Girona are trying to just concentrate their red and white shirts in the middle of the park as Liverpool lose it, and Asprilla plays it back. Krejci, the Czech Republic international defender, plays it forward. He's got bad memories of Liverpool when he was at Slavia Prague last season. His side lost 11-2 on aggregate against Liverpool in the Europa League. 5-1 at home and 6-1 at Anfield. He'll hope that to keep the score down tonight, 0-0.
Well, Trent Alexander-Arnold's just disappeared into midfield now, and what he's trying to do is create a 1v1 situation for Mohamed Salah against Daley Blind, because they know if they get Salah against Blind, he should run him, he should be able to beat him convincingly, given a 1v1 situation.
Here is Alexander-Arnold. We haven't had an opportunity for Mo Salah to run at Daley Blind, who's now at 34 years of age, and in his certainly a veteran status, I think it would be fair to say, for the former Dutch international. As Szoboszlai wins the ball in midfield, plays the ball back to Gravenberch, forward to Nunez. It was a touch that he was able to control as he got away from Gutierrez. but it's a nice slow pace again, and Liverpool are very, very comfortable in possession. After this game, by the way, we will be in Germany, East Germany, for RB Leipzig against Aston Villa, a double-header in the Champions League tonight. Tomorrow, Turin. Thursday night, we'll be at Ibrox in the Europa League for Rangers against Tottenham Hotspur. But this is the Champions League, and Liverpool, the only side to have won every game so far in this revised format, are certainly not facing many scares in the opening 10 minutes here. Here is Jones. Robertson is available to his left. Scottish international now is on the ball, but he gives it back to Curtis Jones. And again, Girona have dropped off. Every red and white shirt is back in their own half. Gravenberch is able to turn. They created space on that far side for Diaz to come in off that left touch line, level with the penalty area. Robertson gets a touch. Gravenberch, the linchpin. Gravenberch, who's been such a key player. He's played every minute of the Champions League campaign. Mind you, so has Virgil van Dijk. As they lose the ball in the midfield, Romeo holds off the challenge of Jones. Played back by Van der Beek. Krejci then goes back towards his goalkeeper, and Gazzaniga has to clear long. But they're maybe now they've got an opportunity to come forward. Hill, on loan from Tottenham, running at the heart of the Liverpool defence. Man over on the near side is Gutierrez, on this near side, the left. Back towards Asprilla, edge of the area. Daley Blind makes the run forward and marked into the box. Gutierrez with a cross. Blind's missed it. Comes out towards the opportunity there for Frances. It was spilled initially by Alisson. That was a scare for Liverpool, but they got away with it 0-0. But if Blind connects with that, counter-attack for Liverpool. Salah away. Krejci tries to get back. First time finish. Wide from Salah with his left foot. Goal kick. End-to-end action.
Well, you said it was quiet in here. Well, it's just been lifted. Simple long ball. Robertson doesn't deal with it, and they pick up the seconds in midfield, Girona, and then they get at the heart of Liverpool. They're patient down the left-hand side. They feed that ball into the middle, but what a second save from Alisson. Had to be alive to it.
Now all of a sudden that's pepped up Girona as Hill drives down that right-hand side. Francis with a cross takes a deflection off the legs of Robertson. And in that open stand behind that goal away towards our left, they're on their feet, the red and white scarves, and the flags are up, and they've got a corner kick.
Yeah, it's almost like that boxer, isn't it, who sits back for a while and thinks that they can't harm the opposition, and then suddenly they land one jab and they go, actually, there's a way through here, we can find a little bit of something, and just giving a little bit of life to the Girona players and fans.
I mean, we'd spotted the run of Daley Blind. I mean, if he'd have connected with that, it was surely a certain goal. That was a scare for Liverpool, 0-0. 12.5 minutes played. Asprilla with a corner, far side the right. Van Dijk heads it away to his fellow Dutchman, Blind on this near side. Down the line to Gutierrez. It was a good ball. Gutierrez, who against Real Madrid at the weekend did play as an orthodox left back, but they've pushed him into midfield as Girona across the back. Now the ball is chipped forward. Hill makes a run, flag stays down. Hill inside the penalty area, slips, gets back to his feet, pokes it goalward, saved by Alisson. And the flag has stayed down. That's twice now that Hill with that diagonal run, and Liverpool with another let-off. Meanwhile, Liverpool now attacking on that far side with Diaz. Diaz comes in field, slows down, edge of the area, 25 yards out from goal, and then Szoboszlai drops it to a walking pace. Now you can hear the Girona supporters here inside the Stadi Montilivi.
Well, you ask why Alisson's in the team. That's why Alisson's in the team. The best at coming out off his line and smothering the opportunity, gets close to Bryan Hill. He had a little slip before he got the ball, Hill, but he should have done better. But credit to Alisson, so quick and alert off his line to close that space down.
Here is Mo Salah. His forward ball stopped by Romeo. Blind plays it up towards Danjuma. Coming across was Gomez. Keeps the ball in play. It is worth pointing out, and indeed myself and Stephen were in San Siro when Liverpool conceded the only goal of the Champions League campaign after 3 minutes on match day 1, when Christian Pulisic scored. Since then, at kick-off, it was 447 minutes. You can add another 15 to that. So they're approaching 7 3/4 hours since they last conceded in the Champions League. And indeed, they could equal a club record, a club European record of 5 successive clean sheets, which would be the 3rd time that Liverpool have done it in their history tonight. but they've had a couple of scares already, as we are a quarter of an hour in on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and also live on Radio Merseyside. Robertson's flick ball into the penalty area will be picked up by Gazzaniga.
Well, the one thing that you'd say from a Liverpool point of view is track the midfield runners, or you've got to make sure that that line is dropping deep if there's no pressure on the ball. It's a couple of times now where Danjuma got caught offside, but he was very close, but Bryan Hill times his run perfectly, and then they float that ball in behind, and Liverpool are all at sea.
Danjuma gets away from Gomez, he goes to ground. Danjuma runs forward on this near side, the left. Gutierrez is up with him. Danjuma forced towards the byline. They've doubled up on Danjuma. Had that spell, of course, at Everton, as well as Tottenham and the former Bournemouth player. And then he comes across and gets a throw-in off the legs of Szoboszlai for a Girona throw-in.
Am I right in saying he played for Villarreal in the semi-final of the Champions League against
he did.
Liverpool as well?
Yeah. In fact, Danjuma has played against Liverpool on 4 occasions for 4 different sides: Bournemouth, Spurs, Everton, and quite rightly Villarreal, and has lost on all 4 occasions. As Hill, who's never played against Liverpool during his time at Spurs, back to Romeo. Romeo just over the halfway line, inside the Liverpool half, as Girona play from right to left in their red and white kit. Forward to Daley Blind, left back is inverted. Back to Krejci, hits it long. Gutierrez, Danjuma is just on the inside of him if he can find him. And Gomez with an uncertain touch, struggling with his footing, it would seem there. Gomez hasn't put the ball out of touch, it remains in play. Danjuma wraps it back. Asprilla was a hard ball to control. Szoboszlai breathing down his neck. Asprilla, though, quite diminutive in stature. 21-year-old Colombian international, signed from Watford for £15.2 million in the summer, and now out towards Hill. Mop of hair as a line of stewards in their luminous orange and yellow jackets, their bibs, make the way down the stand on that far side, as the ball now is out to this near side, the left, and Gutierrez can't cross the ball because Alexander-Arnold is there, but he links up with Romeo. Ball back towards Gutierrez. Gomez with a block. Daley Blind delivers it. Blocked this time by Gravenberch. Now all of a sudden Liverpool are being forced to defend. Gutierrez is still there in the penalty area. Angle drive, swatted away by Alisson. Hill hits it on the half volley inside the penalty area. Couldn't keep it down, left-footed. Good spell for Girona, still goalless.
Yeah, Van Dijk looking round at the Liverpool players saying, what's going on? You've got to get tighter in midfield, you've got to put pressure on the ball. And players switching off and letting runners run in behind them. Alisson now with 3 big saves within the game when Liverpool looked so comfortable early on. He's been called into action. We thought it might be a quiet night for him, but it certainly hasn't been.
It sometimes can be a cliche, but you tell me if it's true. But do you feel that Girona in those opening 7 minutes were probably showing Liverpool too much respect?
Yeah, absolutely. They weren't getting close to them, and then you see a couple of times where they find a way through and suddenly the little bit of belief comes into the team. But Liverpool have let themselves down by being sloppy in the way that they've sort of continued into the second. Well, they started so well in the first 10, and then after that they've been sloppy.
Here is Romeo in the centre circle. Daley Blind with a ball that is perfectly curled out towards Gutierrez on this near side, the left. He goes back to Blind. His forward ball to Danjuma, coming back from an offside position. Let's find out how Celtic have started in Croatia. Gavin Wallace.
Starting not too bad. It's 0-0 at the moment. Dinamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0. They've just had a free kick. Kuchavenda handballed it just outside the box, 25 yards out. Paulo Bernardo Ian stepped up and it just whistled over the bar. The pitch is really slippy. It looks quite heavy, but Celtic in control. Dinamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0.
Celtic's aim, I would imagine, is to finish somewhere between 9 and 24th. At the start of play, they were 20th in the table, 8 points from their 5 games, but they would certainly take the opportunity of competing in a playoff for the last 16 come the new year. And remember, the 2 remaining group stage matches will be played next month. It will all come to a head on January the 29th. 5 Live and BBC Sounds, live in Girona, 19 minutes played, 0-0. But Alisson, returning to the side after injury, has been tested 2 or 3 occasions, and he's certainly made his presence felt. When he was asked about it yesterday, but we knew he was travelling with the squad that left Merseyside yesterday afternoon. Arne Slot said, yep, he's fit to start, and it speaks for itself why he would come back in for Quavin Kelleher, who did get a lot of praise from Arne Slot, who stands in that tiny technical area just in front of us here, with his bald head shining in the floodlights in this tiny little stadium. As Van Dijk comes to a standstill, and it's almost as if all of a sudden there's a lull in proceedings after the excitement of those Girona attacks.
Yeah, Liverpool just taking the sting out the game again now and settling themselves down, not allowing that crowd to pick up the noise levels.
Robertson, he is forward, and his cross will get diverted behind for a corner kick to Liverpool, as the Girona supporters, the little bunch of them, probably about 100 or so behind the goal, I guess they'll be classed as ultras behind that goal away towards our right. That's where the chanting is coming from. They've held their red and white scarves aloft above their head, almost as if you can imagine you'll never walk alone in the Kop, as two flags, red and white, also are flying, and there's a beat of a drum somewhere inside that tiny stand away towards our right hand side. As Liverpool wait to take the corner kick, just over 20 minutes played on 5 Live, waiting for the first goal, and the corner is taken short. Diaz will give it back to Alexander-Arnold. Now Jones, not that far away from the left corner of the penalty area, on that far side. Alexander-Arnold fires it in, and it goes behind, and that came, I think, off, might have been Gutierrez who threw himself at it. They've already, in the 9 goals that they've conceded, 4 of them have been own goals already. That's a Champions League record, but it was a dangerous ball in. Indeed, it was Gutierrez.
Yeah, hit the side netting, and he just knows he's under pressure from Mohamed Salah, who's behind him in close proximity, so he just feels that he has to deal with the situation. But I thought there was a little bit of a wasted opportunity from Liverpool, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold puts in that quality that we know he has.
The voice of Stephen Warnock on BBC Radio 5 Live. In-swinging corner is headed up and behind, and that will go out of play for a corner kick. It came off the head of Wampe, who is now in his 9th season at Girona, joined back in 2016 for the 33-year-old central defender, as the ball is being carefully placed down in the quadrant by Alexander-Arnold. Szoboszlai is desperate to get the attention of Alexander-Arnold, who wraps it in now. Van der Beek heads it out, comes to Szoboszlai, hits it on the half volley right-footed, came off a Girona shirt. Szoboszlai barged off the ball by Asprilla. The break is on for Girona. Asprilla running forward over the halfway line. Blint's actually going ahead of him. Daley Blint, of all people, the 34-year-old, leading the charge, as then the attack peters out, and Liverpool now have it comfortably inside their own penalty area.
Yeah, I think when Asprilla played the ball, I think he was thinking, I'm going to play it, but I don't think you're going to get there. I didn't think he had any belief that it was actually going to make it. What a ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold.
A diagonal ball, a switch of play, finds Salah, keeps it in play down by the corner flag, sends over the cross from the right-hand side, and that was headed away by a leaping Alejandro Frances, the right-back, and needed to get there too, as Romeo. Ball inside towards Danjuma, midway through his own half, being tracked by Gomez, and then Gutierrez. Well, that's delaying the restart. That should be a yellow card. It's going to be a throw. He picks it up and then tosses it away. Why is that not a yellow card?
It's not the Premier League, and that's the problem, isn't it? That's where we get so frustrated, is that we've got different rules in different competitions.
He certainly prevented the quick throw from being taken, picked the ball up, ran away with it, and then tossed it about 6 yards in front of him, and not in the direction of Alexander-Arnold. 24 minutes played. Here is Robertson forward of the centre circle. Gomez plays it out towards Salah. Gutierrez has filled in behind Daley Blint, I notice, as Salah runs away from the former Manchester United player, chips it forward, and there was Frances to head the ball away. Hill is ahead of him, turns towards Van der Beek, part of that excellent Ajax side that reached the Champions League semi-finals 5 years ago. Spoke to Erik ten Hag about him last year. Actually, I was doing a Football Writers Association dinner in Manchester, and I just said to him, why has Van der Beek never adapted to the Premier League? Physicality was his response. Because in that Ajax side, he was, you know, you had De Jong, and they were a very, very talented team, but he was so eye-catching. Scored against Spurs as well in the first leg, and yet it never happened for him when he moved to Old Trafford. They bought him for £35 million, they sold him to Girona for 420,000.
Wow.
I mean,
it's incredible, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of an incident here. Luis Diaz has just flicked an arm up in the face of Frances, but there's nothing in it whatsoever, but the defenders trying to make the most of it. Luis Diaz just protecting the ball, protecting the space in between him and the ball, and then Frances hits the deck. I think they forget now that there's cameras everywhere, watching everything that they do. He clutches his nose and his face, but he's actually caught him probably in the throat more than anything.
Well, the referee, has common sense has prevailed and has taken no action, because I could see that Frances was making the most of that. Still goalless. 25 minutes played. Here is Van Dijk for Liverpool, all in black, playing from left to right as we look. Robertson is to his left. They've only brought a squad of 19 senior players, so they only have 8 on the bench. McAllister, who is suspended for the game against Fulham at the weekend as well, has been given a little bit of time off as the ball with Diaz running forward. It's a strong run as well in towards the penalty area, and whilst he was running, he then hit it right-footed. The angle would have been against him, into the side netting, goal kick. Yeah,
but it's better from Diaz. So often he likes to come inside on that right foot and open the pitch up a little bit for him, but as a defender, what you don't want to see is an attacking player who can go left and right, and you've got to mix your game up. But they need to get Salah and Diaz on the ball in 1v1 situations more often. It's not quite worked for them so far.
Ball cleared by Gazzaniga, and he knew as soon as he kicked that it was always going out of play, and he turned away a little bit like when you're a golfer on the driving range or on the tee, the fairway, and you just see it sort of like drift out of bounds and you turn away in frustration. That was Paulo Gazzaniga. As soon as he cleared that one, he knew that Danjuma was not going to keep that ball in play as it went for a throw.
You've seen me play golf quite a lot. Constantly turn on. No, not again.
Well, I was actually talking from personal experience, but if you're going to claim it, then yeah. Especially after your comment about tank top and Bermuda shorts on 5 Live Drive earlier on.
Took me off me breakfast, that.
Here is Jones. Jones running forward. Cleared by Daley Blind. I'd done my due diligence, don't you worry. I knew it was going to be cold here tonight, just above freezing here in Girona. I'm sure it won't be much warmer in Leipzig, which is where we're going next for an 8 o'clock kickoff. RB Leipzig against Aston Villa. Aston Villa, who are 9th in this Champions League table. Salah infield towards Alexander-Arnold. Nunez with his back to goal, tried to play it to Salah, who'd continued to run down the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold picks it up, hits for the ball for the run of Robertson. Diagonal ball, drops inside the penalty area, but away from Robertson and out for a goal kick, and it's still goalless.
Yeah, that's where I feel things just often break down when the ball goes into Darwin Nunez. More often than not, his touch is heavy, his link-up play is poor, and he's just the weaker link at times within this Liverpool team. You notice such a difference when it is Diogo Jota in that central position, or as we've seen in recent weeks when Gakpo plays on that left-hand side and Luis Diaz plays through the middle. It looks a little bit more structured in the way that they play.
Here is Gazzaniga. He turned away from Nunez, who might just have slipped as he tried to close him and challenge him just inside the 6-yard area. Gazzaniga got away with that. Ball is headed back by Alexander-Arnold. Alisson's out of his penalty area. Was just above knee height, just had to adjust his standing left leg slightly before clearing it away right-footed, and it'll go out of play for a Girona throw on the right.
I'm not so sure Trent Alexander-Arnold knew that there was a player behind him, and it was a quite careless header from him, and Alisson had to be alive to it.
Well, we are approaching almost 8 hours since Liverpool last conceded in the Champions League, as the ball goes out to this near side for Gutierrez. And Gutierrez is being tracked by Alexander-Arnold. He plays the ball back to Juanpe, the central defender. Frances, the right back, finds Romeo. Oriol Romeo to Krejci. And keeping the ball at the back now are Girona, but not really going anywhere. Romeo once again gets it, but then plays it back. So in a triangular passing pattern, they're still midway through their own half at this stage on this chilly night in Girona. And the ball played from Blind back towards Gazzaniga.
But that period of possession there for Girona, it sums Liverpool's defence up in the way that they have been this season. So Trent Alexander-Arnold follows Gutierrez into midfield, and then Joe Gomez is screaming at Szoboszlai, you've got to tuck in, you've now got to become the right back, and Trent Alexander-Arnold becomes that midfielder, and then the balance is within the team, so they're not leaving that gap in that right back position when Trent Alexander-Arnold disappears into midfield.
Former England international Stephen Warnock as Danjuma collected the ball on the left touchline, ran back and then ran infield to the centre circle. Frances with a diagonal ball out towards Blint. The left back was forward. Asprilla will not get there first, but Blint tries to keep it alive for Girona. Gomez settles it down. Alexander-Arnold plays a ball inside, and Curtis Jones is fouled as he wins the free kick midway through his own half.
So underrated under pressure, Curtis Jones. Just a little shimmy and a drop of the shoulder to receive the ball and then relieve the pressure for his team. Just want to see a little bit more from him higher up the pitch. We've seen him sort of chip in with a couple of goals this season, important one against Chelsea and then one in the week last week against Newcastle.
Certainly took that one ever so well at St James's Park for that improved second half performance from Liverpool. Half an hour played, just over in fact, still 0-0. Van Dijk enters the Girona half. Gomez now takes over, passes the ball to Salah, first time ball towards Szoboszlai, held off by Krejci. Szoboszlai kept the ball in play, but the only person to benefit from that was Daley Blind. And then it's passed back to Romeo. He's going to come under pressure from Salah, and his ball actually comes off the back of Nunez, loops up in the air, and he's caught by Gazzaniga.
He's a little bit slow on the ball, isn't he, at the moment, Romeo? Finding it difficult. So often he's the enforcer, the player who breaks things up. Not the most comfortable on the ball.
A teammate of Van Dijk when they were together at Southampton. 16 times he's previously played against Liverpool. He's only won on 3 of those occasions as Asprilla is caught in possession. Certainly Liverpool, when they're pressing and looking to close Girona down, are putting the Spanish side under a lot of pressure in that respect.
Yeah, and it's just trying not to give away little silly free kicks, keep that pressure on them make decisions, make it hard. I thought the referee, though, was a little bit kind to Girona. Lovely play from Asprilla to skip away from Curtis Jones.
And then got away from Diaz as well, as he slipped into a little bit of space, not once but twice. Blint now comes forward as well from left back. Got options ahead of him. One of them also is Danjuma, who's just started to drift out towards this left-hand side. Up against Alexander-Arnold. Danjuma with the shot, strikes the back of Gravenberch. It'll go behind for a Girona corner, 0-0.
Yeah, Gravenberch straight away pointing at his arm was by his side, and it wasn't a penalty, just making sure that the referee knows that. But Danjuma trying to get a little bit of joy against Trent Alexander-Arnold, coming inside on that right foot and firing the shot.
So Danjuma, in no real hurry, walks across to this near side as they play from right to left as we look. And it's going to be a Girona corner kick, which Danjuma will take right-footed. Strikes it now, powerfully, punched away by Alisson, drops 30 yards out from goal, played back on the full by Asprilla to Blint. And now with Asprilla once again. This young Colombian looks up, hits the ball out towards that far side. It's off the chest, and Frances with the shot, charged down by Gravenberch behind for another corner.
Yeah, it's clear and evident what Girona have been working on leading up to this game. It's runners from deep, it's making sure that you time those runs, and Frances on that far right hand side, he checked 2 or 3 times, making sure that he gave the opportunity for that switcher play to happen. Lovely touch, but credit to Gravenberch, got back in, got that block, vitally important.
Yeah, we've seen both fullbacks get forward, so they are playing an open game in that respect, but it will leave them vulnerable to the counter-attack should Liverpool get that opportunity, as Asprilla saunters over to the far side. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and live on Radio Merseyside. Corner kick to Girona, played towards Danjuma, right corner of the box, back towards Asprilla, blocked and closed down by Alexander-Arnold on the Liverpool left, and it will go out for a throw to Girona once again that Asprilla will look to take, and he finds Brian Hill, who's on a 3rd successive loan in Spain away from Tottenham. Ball played forward, and Alisson caught it. Krejci was the target. Now all of a sudden there's that counter-attack that we're talking about, and the ball is bowled out to Salah, gets it out towards Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai runs forward, cross takes the deflection off the head, loops up, downward headed by Nunez, is behind Curtis Jones.
My word, what is that? What is that from Darwin Nunez? It falls into his path and you're thinking, take a touch, bring it down, hit the volley. He heads it into the ground. I mean, that is Darwin Nunez to a T. So disappointing, because it was a brilliant break.
Here is Salah. Salah to Nunez. Nunez inside the penalty area, saved by the legs of Gazzaniga. Made the run into the inside right channel of the penalty area, right-footed across the goal. But Gazzaniga with his legs made the save.
Oh, he's got to score, has to score this opportunity. The way to pass is absolutely delightful from Mohamed Salah. Just left-footed, just pushes it into the path of Darwin Nunez. He doesn't need to break stride. He's now on his right foot. I said before about everything has to be power with him. There's no precision, there's no thought behind the finish, just to caress it into that far corner. Smart save from Gazzaniga, but it should be 1-0 Liverpool.
Here is Salah. Salah's shot is blocked. It's going to fall to Robertson, who drives it. They're appealing for handball. That was travelling. That would be extremely harsh, I'd have to say. Hill now with a counter-attack, running the ball clear. Plays it towards Gutierrez, over the halfway line. 9 minutes to go to half-time, 0-0. Danjuma waits for the ball to reach him on this near side the left, level with the penalty area. Goes away from Alexander-Arnold. Doesn't deliver the cross the first time. Waits. And then plays it back towards Gutierrez. Not many inside the penalty area. They don't really have a focal point in that sense. Here is Romeo to come forward. Romeo blocked by Gravenberch.
Trouble.
And now all of a sudden it is 5 against 4 in Liverpool's favour. Curtis Jones has got options. Left, right and through the middle. He carries the ball to the edge of the area and then in the end doesn't pick out any black shirt. Cut out by Frances. It's like a basketball game at the moment.
This is quite incredible. It's not a game that we associate with Arne Slot this season at Liverpool. Usually so much control, but wasted opportunity from Curtis Jones when they had a 5v4 situation.
And as it slows down, we'll go to Gavin Wallace watching Celtic.
10 minutes to half-time, Ian. Dynamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0. Not much the way of happening, clear-cut chances, apart from that Paulo Bernardo free kick on 25, which went just over the bar. Celtic, though, enjoying the lion's share of possession. They've got to take their chances. It's Dynamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0.
Also goalless here as well. RB Leipzig, Aston Villa to come on this first of 3 successive nights of European action from inside the stadium on BBC Radio 5 Live, as the ball is played up to Daley Blind by Wampe, and then Van der Beek. Asprilla provides the width on that far side, the right. Van der Beek has continued his run. Asprilla comes in field, out towards Hill, controls it, keeps it in play. Near side the left, helped out by Gutierrez. Gutierrez with a cross, headed away by Gomez. Drops towards Asprilla, nice touch, hits it as well. Fantastic save by Alisson. That was goal-bound, left-footed effort, and at full flight, Alisson takes off, makes the move away towards his right with a two-handed save to push it away. World class.
Yeah, absolutely stunning from Alisson. That's 4 saves he's had to make now. But he does make saves look so easy. Just his footwork, his ability to get to that right-hand side. He gets 2 hands on it, not 1, but 2. Big, strong hands. Make sure he pushes it to safety.
Well, he knows he's back involved, because as Stephen Warnock quite rightly says, 4 good saves that he's made now as the corner is taken short and then played in by Asprilla on the left corner of the area and patted down by Alisson. But for somebody who's 6'4", he was very sprightly the way he sprang into action.
Yeah, and that'll please him as well, knowing that that injury isn't concerning him, making sure that he's got that push off with that quad injury that he picked up. That'll be doing him the world of good. Some of the saves that he's made, there's been such a variation of saves that he's made as well, so that's him showing us exactly why he should be in this team.
Still goalless, Szoboszlai. Back to Alexander-Arnold. He seemed to shout something there at Nunez. Didn't seem happy that Nunez wasn't showing himself and making himself available with a ball to feet. So they went back across the back line. Robertson now towards Alexander-Arnold, who's midway through the Girona half. Salah collects it just in from the touchline. Back to Alexander-Arnold once again. Szoboszlai was telling him to switch it with his outstretched arm. Luis Diaz tries to make the run. But there was Brian Hill, who was back there, and Hill will bring it clear for Girona, but he's been caught in possession by Diaz. Here is Gravenberch back towards Diaz, tried to get it out towards Robertson. With the aid of a deflection, it does reach the Scottish international, level with the penalty area left-hand side. Infield now towards Gravenberch, just over 5 minutes to go to half-time. And this is Diaz, edge of the area, ran into a little bit of traffic. And Asprilla is going to be brought to the ground by Gravenberch, and that will be a free kick. I think I've got to say that Benoit Bastien, he seems to be quite a lenient referee.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much in that. I know there's Girona fans wanting a yellow card. I think it's just two players coming together, a little bit of an outstretched arm from Gravenberch, and he goes to ground. He is quite slight as well, Asprilla. But the point I was going to make, if I was Frances, I would be absolutely over the moon playing with Brian Hill in front of me. He might be sloppy at times in possession, but my word, what work rate off the ball. The amount of times that he's tracked either Robertson or Luis Diaz down that left-hand side, quite incredible from him.
The Michel, the coach of Girona, 49-year-old Spaniard, he was like, his arms were whirling. He was like a bowler in the cricket, warming up with his arms going one way and then his left arm going the other. He was apoplectic there. Something really did cause him to get quite irate. He was La Liga's manager of the season last year for guiding Girona to third. He's certainly worked wonders since he took charge, appointed 3 years ago, promoted in his first season. As here is Szoboszlai, no shooting opportunity. Jones just outside the D, Salah with a cute little ball through, blocked. And then Wampe manages to get it away at the second chance to Gutierrez, still on the edge of his own penalty area, being penned in by Alexander-Arnold, who pushes him from behind, and Girona will get a free kick.
Yeah, so silly from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and now arguing with the assistant referee. Has to be careful that he doesn't find himself in the referee's book, because it's just clumsy from Trent Alexander-Arnold.
They play it short, and Wampe from his own penalty area gets it out towards that far side. Frances infield towards Asprilla.
That wasn't meant to go there.
Here is Asprilla, who comes forward, tries to get away from Szoboszlai. Couldn't thread the ball through for the run of Van der Beek. Liverpool now get it up towards Nunez, goes behind him, slows the attack down as he gets the ball in front of him. Luis Diaz comes on the overlap. Nunez, though, won't need him. It's a heavy-looking ball in towards Gravenberch. Like he'd maybe overhit that, and Girona will clear up towards Hill, who once again is just in front of the right back, and then Hill has gone down off the ball as well.
Just think he got his ankles tapped by Luis Diaz and made the most of it. Brian Hill, he's just trying to get the crowd involved in the situations for the referee. There's nothing in it whatsoever. But Liverpool are struggling at the moment when the ball goes into forward areas, because Darwin Nunez, as you said, Trent Alexander-Arnold was looking for him before, and he's trying to make eye contact to say, I want this pass to go into your feet. The problem is he doesn't want that. He doesn't think that way. He just doesn't want to be involved until the ball comes into the penalty box. That's not the way this Liverpool team plays.
Gutierrez plays the ball to Wampe, the central defender, the captain of Girona, runs with it midway through his own half. Hill on the halfway line drops back. Asprilla didn't want to know in that challenge with Gravenberch, as Szoboszlai loses out to Romeo, just showed too much strength. Szoboszlai tries to win it back. Hill lays it off. Romeo now looks for a ball and plays it out to this near side, where Danjuma, in front of the standing and watching Arne Slot, comes forward now, steadies himself, went for the shot, and actually from the edge of the area his right-footed shot was screwed that badly wide it didn't go behind, it's gone out for a Liverpool throw in front of the 462 Liverpool supporters.
Yeah, that was like one of your drives, shanked it right and tried to get it on target but gets it horribly wrong.
I thought we were talking about your golf, not mine.
I was just deflected. Really, he got that completely wrong though, Danjuma, didn't he?
Not like you. 90 seconds of normal time remaining. Here is Van Dijk. He just asks Alexander-Arnold to go on ahead of him on this right-hand side. So we'll find out how much added on time there will be very, very soon. We've got just over 60 seconds remaining of this first half here on BBC Radio 5 Live, 0-0. Alexander-Arnold forward ball. Gravenberch looks for Curtis Jones ahead of him. Romeo can't get there. Gravenberch tries to win it back. Romeo on the ground though, touches it towards Asprilla, but he shows too much towards Gomez, and Liverpool are back in possession. This is Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold thought about the shot, passes the ball instead towards Luis Diaz. Robertson on the overlap. He plays him in now. Scottish international with a cross. Nobody at the far post. Salah had made the run in field in that crowded penalty area, and Girona are able to bring it clear.
Yeah, for once Mohamed Salah makes the wrong run. He goes inside and doesn't give Robertson the option to stand it up at the back post.
Diaz wins it back. He finds Salah. Salah towards Luis Diaz, just behind him. He will keep the ball in play though on this near side. He runs out of the penalty area and away from the byline on the right hand side. We've got 30 seconds remaining of this first half. Here is Gomez. Gomez waits. Van Dijk. Back to a walking pace we go, still 0-0. Dying embers of the first half here on this cold night in Girona, as Alexander-Arnold, central area, finds Jones inside the penalty area, left corner. Back towards Robertson, first time cross, headed away by Blint, headed further away by Gutierrez, and then gets himself away from Mo Salah, and in fact there will be no added on time. The French referee, Benoit Bastien, says that is the half-time whistle, and we're 0-0. Stephen.
Yeah, very interesting game, end-to-end at times, and credit to Girona. They weathered the storm in the first 10 minutes or so and then started to create opportunities themselves, and Alisson, who started his first game for 11 games for Liverpool, called into action on numerous occasions with 4 smart saves, and he was needed in every single opportunity because Girona got down the left-hand side, down the right, they got shots in from distance, but he was alive to all situations thrown at him, and Liverpool have had opportunities. Darwin Núñez with a couple of opportunities that he should have put away, and Liverpool perhaps should be ahead with the biggest chances created.
Don't you go anywhere. I'm sure Lord Chapman will want to ask you some questions, but Gazaniga with 3 saves, 4 saves for Alisson, the pick of them that one from Asprilla 7 minutes before half time. So at the break here in Girona, 0, Liverpool 0. Mark.
And exactly kind of what you've both been saying, it's very open, isn't it? Surprisingly open, actually.
Yeah, he won't be happy about that, Arne Slot, at all. He'll feel that the balance isn't quite right. Maybe Liverpool are just a little bit overconfident at times and leaving the 2 midfielders in Jones and Szoboszlai a little bit too high up the pitch, and leaving Gravenberch with an awful lot of work to do in midfield. So work to be done. The other thing I'd say, chappers, is Liverpool very narrow, which suits Girona. Everything is inside, everything's moving inside, so you're not getting those 1v1 situations in wide areas or the overlapping situations which we're so used to seeing from Liverpool.
Is that because Girona are funneling them in, keeping them narrow?
Well, not really, because Mohamed Salah can choose whether he wants to go inside or stay wide, can't he? He's wandering inside, and whether he feels that it's just because it is so tight and congested that if they do get quick 1-2s, then they're in at goal. It's quite a narrow pitch as well, but if I was a fullback, I'd be delighted how narrow the 2 wingers are. I'd be more worried if Salah and Diaz had chalk on the boots, on the soles, because then you know that they're hugging those touchlines, and then you're ultimately you're hoping that your centre-back's close to you. Then that draws open space for Darwin Núñez in the middle of the pitch, but I can see a change coming at half-time. I can't see Darwin Núñez carrying on up front.
Okay, and that's what I was trying to ascertain. I was trying to work out whether that's Liverpool causing it themselves or whether Girona are doing something to negate Salah and Diaz a little bit. But it's more Liverpool's side.
It feels that way anyway, because they just keep on naturally drifting inside, and you just wonder whether that's something that Arne Slot has seen within the tactics of Girona leading up to the game, and he's watched previous games. He might adapt that in the second half and say, okay, that's not working, we'll change the way we're playing. He was quite animated on the touchline a lot of the first half, Arne Slot, arms thrown in the air on numerous occasions, when he's usually very calm with what he's seeing in front of him.
Stephen, Ian, thank you very much. Second half on the way on Sports Extra this evening. Dinamo Zagreb against Celtic. Gavin Wallace.
0-0 at half-time, Mark, at the moment, and to be honest, it's been a game there's not been a lot of chances. Just before the break there, Sandro Kulinovic had a really good chance. His shot wasn't really diverted anywhere near it, just went past. And to be honest, Celtic, their best chance from this came from 25 yards out, maybe midway through the first half. Paulo Bernardo was over a free kick, and you would always bet your house on him just to get it on target. It just got up over the wall, didn't quite dip down and just whistled over the bar. To be honest, Celtic haven't been quite there tonight with their decision making. They're getting into really dangerous areas, Mark, but to be honest, the decision making isn't as good as it normally is. Maybe it's too cold, but the 3,000 Celtic fans there will be relatively happy, I would think, that they're still within a chance of getting this victory on the road that they need. It's Dynamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0 at half time.
It's approaching 25-7. You're listening to 5 Live, and Nick Hatfield has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening. Israel says it's destroyed the Syrian Navy fleet as part of an offensive to stop the country's military capabilities falling into the hands of extremist groups. An interim Prime Minister has been appointed after the downfall of the Assad regime. The UN has called for the Israeli attacks to stop. Our chief international correspondent Lise Doucette has more from the capital, Damascus.
Israel says it has destroyed Syria's naval base as it carries out attacks against what it says are military installations for a third day. Israel's defense minister has described these attacks as being because they want to ensure Israel's strategic interests are protected. And he said Israeli forces were, in his words, operating with great success.
Northumbria police say the former England rugby union player Tom Voice is feared dead after going missing in an area which was flooded during Storm Dara. Officers think his car may have been carried away by river currents after he tried to cross a ford near Alnwick. A man from County Down, described by a judge as a prolific and chilling sex abuser, has been sentenced to 27 years in prison. David John Andrews admitted 130 charges relating to 47 victims across the UK. His youngest victim was just 8. A wildfire in California has spread rapidly through Malibu, near Los Angeles. Mandatory evacuation orders are in place for several thousand residents. The fire has been fanned by high winds. Linda lives in Malibu Canyon.
About 2 horses that I left in there. I know the house is gone. I went back in there and to try to find the horses, but it was too dangerous. We had to just get out of there as quickly as we could and follow the sheriffs out. And I was able to save 1 horse. I got the family out of the house.
And thousands of women are due to have their equal pay claims settled by Birmingham City Council. The terms of the agreement have not been revealed. Previous figures put the council's potential liability at £760 million.
Welcome to a special episode of Rugby Union Weekly.
Hello, British audience. My name is Alona Marr.
How are you finding the British weather?
It's cold. It's wet. We do train a little late at night, and I did stop moving for a little bit, and everything froze, but I think I'll get used to it. I was rolling my bags in, and a girl goes to me, "Oh, welcome to the Olympic Villa." And I was like, gotcha. If I'm what gets them in the door, awesome, but I hope that they see the rugby that's being played is what makes them stay.
5 Live's Rugby Union Weekly.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport.
The Champions League with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Let's just go back to a story that we heard in the news there. The former England Rugby Union international Tom Voice is feared dead after he went missing in a flooded area of Northumberland during Storm Dara. Our Rugby Union correspondent Chris Jones is here. Chris.
Yes, details emerging in the last hour or two from Northumbria Police. They say an extensive search has been ongoing since Sunday morning for the former England international Tom Voice. It's feared he was dragged into the River Aln in his car after meeting friends on Saturday evening. The car has since been recovered, but Voice hasn't been found, with police saying they believe he was swept away trying to escape. The police add they are supporting his family and one of Voice's old clubs, Gloucester, as well as the RFU. He won 9 caps for England. Have both said their thoughts go out to Voice's family and friends at this distressing time.
He mentioned parts of his career there, 9 caps for England, represented Gloucester. What other details about his career have you got for us?
Yeah, very familiar figure for any rugby supporter in the 2000s. England international, played at Bath, Gloucester, finished his career at London Welsh, but he's best known for his achievements at Wasps, part of that amazing legacy the club created, winning 3 Premiership titles in a row. He started in the European Cup final wins in 04 and 07. These are really iconic matches in English rugby history. A big, strong, quick winger, very popular member of the Wasps squad. I know he was still in touch with friends from that team, so thoughts go out to them as well as all his family and friends at this time.
Chris, thank you very much. Our Rugby Union correspondent, Chris Jones. At 8 o'clock tonight, full commentary of RB Leipzig against Aston Villa. Villa trying to move into the top 8 of the Champions League table. Leipzig all over the place at the moment. Lost all 5 group games. Alistair Bruce-Ball and Paul Robinson are your commentary team tonight in Germany. They are really struggling, aren't they, Leipzig?
They are in this competition, Mark. They've sort of got it together domestically a little bit in recent weeks. But yes, in the Champions League, they've been hard hit by injuries. I actually think they've had a really tough draw as well. You know, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Liverpool, Celtic away, which is obviously very different from Celtic travelling to you. And Celtic were sensational that night and beat them by 3-1. And in their last game, Inter Milan away. And I think what makes that so interesting for Aston Villa tonight is for Leipzig to have any chance of finishing, you know, in a qualification position to try and get themselves into that playoff round. They are going to have to win their last 3 games. They're going to have to win tonight, which means they're going to have to come at Aston Villa.
So that's a danger for Villa, Paul Robinson, really, the situation that Leipzig find themselves in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a must-win game for them. ABB touched there on the results that they've had, losing all 5 games, but they've been in all the games, losing to Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Liverpool, Inter Milan, all by the single goal. They lost heavily 3-1 away at Celtic, but actually tonight is a must-win for them. A point you would think would be enough for Villa to see them into the last 16 at least, the top 16 of the Champions League table. But it'll be a very, very tough game for them here tonight.
Top 16 is great for them. They'll fancy top 8, won't they? Particularly given how they started this competition.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a great record in the Champions League. They were top of the Champions League for a while, weren't they? The way that they started, the results that they had, the fantastic win against Bayern Munich, the young boys game in the first game that they had, dropped off away at Club Brugge. That was a poor performance from them. Last time out, 0-0 against Juventus. It'll be a tough ask for them tonight here, Unai Emery's men. They've had an indifferent spell in the league, turned it round this week with a win against Brentford and Southampton. And the 2 teams very, very similar, actually. They've both hit a rocky spell of form, and actually in the last week they're both coming off the back of 2 wins. So it'll be a really good game tonight, Mark.
Yeah, they have had a bit of a wobble, haven't they, Aston Villa, Ali? I mean, part of it can be traced back to Tyrone Mings picking the ball up.
Yeah, we did commentary on that game, didn't we, a few weeks ago, where there wasn't much happening in that game, and obviously Aston Villa put themselves in a great position, as Paul says, by winning the first 3 games, lost that one, got the 0-0 draw against Juventus. I agree with you though, Mark. I think this is a fantastic opportunity. This will be tricky tonight, but get a win here. They then go away to Monaco. They've got Celtic at home in their last couple of games, and what an achievement, that would be. I mean, considering how long it's been since Aston Villa have been in the European Cup, never been in the Champions League before, to finish in the top 8 and automatically get themselves a last 16 tie, that'd be quite something. The other thing we're just looking out for as well, Mark, some of the Villa players are out. Chilly night in Leipzig tonight, so they're wrapped up warm. They've got the big old gilets on and the white hooded tops, and the hoods are up and hands are sort of deep in pockets. Ollie Watkins I've seen out there with the white headphones on. Journalists sort of pressing Unai Emery on the idea of playing Watkins and John Duran together, so just going to wait and see whether that happens. He did talk about it. He didn't say he was definitely going to do it, and he's very rarely done it before, but it could be an interesting one if he does.
Why would he do it tonight, Paul? Would you do it tonight?
He's not done it previously, has he? John Duran, he's getting that label that nobody wants, the super sub label. His goal scoring record coming off the bench. You look at what he's scored for Villa, is the Champions League top scorer with 2, the most shots, but he's only played about 40% of the game time. So he's certainly staking a claim for a start. It'd be a big decision for Unai Emery to drop Ollie Watkins, but for them both to play together, that almost puts Villa into a 4-4-2, if you like, which they never do they?
I had a look, Mark, at the other 2 occasions last season. One of them was a 1-1 draw away to West Ham. John Duran got taken off at half-time. The other occasion was on the last day of the season, and they lost 5-0 at Crystal Palace. so it hasn't gone well. So you're right. Why would you do it, given how well it's gone in the Champions League? But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that's maybe a clue as to why he hasn't done it this season. The memory of the last game of last season. It's an only fair question to ask about Aston Villa, as I asked it about Celtic earlier, Paul, which is you probably want this tied up, some form of qualification, before that final game, because in an England-Scotland battle, anything can happen.
Yeah, Villa have got the opportunity index. They're away at Monaco. And they're at home to Celtic, so even if they weren't to pick up a result tonight, they would still fancy their chances. But as you say, the Rangers in the Europa League against Tottenham this week as well, and Celtic at Aston Villa. It's a game that they won't want to have to go into thinking that they need something from it to get through to that last 16. So yeah, they would like to tie up tonight. That would be the ideal. Whether or not they can is another thing. But actually, with the 2 games that they've got coming up, I think that they're almost there.
Back with Ali and Paul a little bit later on. Commentary from Leipzig at 8 o'clock. We'll do more build-up to that game at full time in Girona. A couple of other football lines for you. Gary O'Neill will remain in charge of Wolves despite their poor start to the season. They were beaten at West Ham last night. Brighton have announced they'll sign the Paraguay international midfielder Diego Gomez from Inter Miami when next month's transfer window opens. And the Millwall head coach Neil Harris will leave the club after Saturday's game with Middlesbrough. Both early games tonight in the Champions League are goalless. Dinamo Zagreb and Celtic. Commentary on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds right now. And the game here on 5 Live between Girona and Liverpool. Although goodness knows how it is goalless. Both sides have had chances. Let's rejoin Stephen Warnock and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Mark. Welcome back to Stade Montilivi as the 2 teams take to the field, and Liverpool are unchanged at the start of the second half as they re-emerge in that away strip, all in black. With Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk and Robertson. Midfield 3 of Jones, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai. McAllister, remember, is suspended not just for this game but also domestically against Fulham on Saturday. Incidentally, you'll hear that game live on 5 Live as well. Salah, Nunez and Diaz are the front 3. No changes, it would seem, either for Girona in their red and white checkered fronts of their shirts, the red backs, the red shorts, the white socks, with Gazzaniga in goal. Back 4 of Frances, Wampe, Krejci and Blint, Van der Beek, Romeo, Gutierrez in the midfield with Asprilla, Danjuma and Brian Hill as our French referee gets us back underway. Girona 0, Liverpool 0. Liverpool then will be playing from right to left as we look, as Gomez straight away heads the ball forward towards Alexander-Arnold, who gives it away towards Danjuma. That was sloppy. Danjuma's in the penalty area, beaten out by the goalkeeper Alisson. Stood tall, got both hands to it, but Liverpool, really, that was a sloppy start in the opening 25 seconds of this restart.
Well, one of the things I was going to say to you was, can Girona keep up that tempo? Can they keep up the pressure on Liverpool? Trent Alexander-Arnold with a mistake, but with a magnificent ball now to Mohamed Salah.
Salah picks it up, right-hand side of the penalty area, cuts inside, goes on the outside. Salah looks for the opportunity, and then it goes across the face of goal. Might have taken the deflection. It's going to be kept in play on this near side by Robertson. It's Jones who picks it up. Jones goes for goal, drops just in front of the goalkeeper. Although it was interesting, wasn't it? Nunez was ready to close him down.
Yeah, well, he had to do something because he's been poor all game, Darwin Nunez, so he has to react to something. But another smart save from Alisson. Comes out of his goal, closes that angle down, beats the ball away as the strike comes in from Danjuma.
There was just a bit of a kerfuffle away towards our left, and I wondered what it was. And in the first half, there was a beat of the drum that was coming from the right-hand side, and then a supporter who's got like a cape on, which is red, green, yellow, and red on the other side, has run round on the little walkway that arcs its way in the stand away towards our left. That open little stand, again, remember the top tiers are not being utilised because they're temporary and therefore they don't meet UEFA criteria, so it's a reduced capacity of 10,000, and he's just walking across and beating the drum as it's held aloft his head, a white drum, slamming it with his right hand as there is a stoppage in play here. And you're not missing any of the action because at the moment the physio is not being allowed to tend to Gutierrez, who's now back to his feet, but he certainly caused quite a bit of a stir as our little drummer, as he now goes right next to the Liverpool supporters.
There's one down the right and the left, either end of the ground. You can hear one back in that section where you were before, so I think they've just added another one behind the other goal.
Ball stopped by Alexander-Arnold, plays it first time up towards Salah. Blint didn't give Gazzaniga any favours. It was a lifted ball back to him that Gazzaniga had to volley away right-footed. It wasn't a clean strike by the goalkeeper. Oh, Jones has done well to skip away from the challenge of Romeo. Tries to play it on the inside of Gravenberch, but Donny van der Beek was there, and Van der Beek now will run forward. He holds off Szoboszlai, does Van der Beek, and now towards Asprilla. Central area just outside the D. Out it goes towards Danjuma. Danjuma now left corner of the penalty area, enters the box, shoots across the goal. Alisson had it covered, out for a goal kick. Still 0-0. Stephen Warnock.
I said at half-time that Arne Slot wouldn't be happy about the performance in the first half. He'll be absolutely furious with the first 3 or so minutes of this second half as well, because that's 2 times now that Girona have got in behind Liverpool and down that left-hand side, Liverpool's right-back position. Trent Alexander-Arnold trying to join that attack, and it's something that they've certainly worked on, making sure that they find that gap when he goes forward.
Salah picks it up on the right-hand side, runs at Blint, tries to come on the inside of him. Gets away from Blint, but not Romeo, who came to help out. Infield to Krejci. Dwelt on the ball quite a long time, played it out towards Gutierrez. His forward ball is to Blint. Blint holds off Szoboszlai to Danjuma, takes it away from Gomez, keeps it in play on the halfway line, runs forward. Alexander-Arnold is down the field. Danjuma's got away from Gomez. Danjuma enters the penalty area and then fluffs his line. After all that promising approach play, you have to say the left-footed effort was wretched. Goal kick.
It's typical of Danjuma, isn't it? Does so many things well. Little nutmegs on Joe Gomez, and then finds himself in a 1v1 situation with Van Dijk. He opts to take the shot, lashes across the ball, gets it horribly wrong. He is a dangerous player in 1v1 situations, but you often feel that end product is going to let him down.
He's yet to score, the Dutch international, since he arrived at Girona.
I'm not surprised.
He had that good season with Bournemouth one time, but didn't really do it for Spurs or indeed Everton during his loan spells there on Merseyside and in North London. Salah back towards Alexander-Arnold, caught by Gazzaniga as he claims it well inside the penalty area. We're 5 minutes into the second half on BBC Radio 5 Live, the BBC Sounds app, and we're also live on Radio Merseyside tonight inside this Stadi Montilivi that was built and opened in 1970. As the ball goes back to Gazzaniga, who clears it first time and gets plenty of distance on that. Ball in fear towards Asprilla. Asprilla with the outside of his right boot carves the ball forward, and this is Frances, who, the right back, plays it out towards Brian Hill. Hill runs forward with pace, enters the penalty area, goes away from Robertson, and it will be a goal kick. 43 appearances during his time at Spurs, didn't score since he arrived from Sevilla in 2021. And this is his 3rd season that he's been loaned back to Spain after returning to Sevilla and also having a loan spell at Valencia. He now finds himself in Girona, away from North London. After the commentary here in Girona at 8 o'clock, our next commentary will be from Eastern Germany, and the team news is in. Alistair Bruce-Ball.
3 changes for Aston Villa from their 1-0 home win over Southampton at the weekend. Watkins and Duran don't play together. Watkins comes in for Duran. Matty Cash and Luca Dean come in for Maatsen and Leon Bailey, who's out injured. It will be 3 centre-backs, Konza, Pau Torres and Diego Carlos, with Cash and Dean as the wing-backs.
Thank you, Ali. Paul Robinson will be alongside Ali Bruce-Ball then for that commentary from Leipzig, live on 5 Live at 8. Tomorrow we are in Turin, and then on Thursday night we're at Ibrox for Rangers against Tottenham. I'm sure Ange Postecoglou will be looking forward to his reception at Ibrox.
I'm sure he will.
Here is Robertson, halfway line. Liverpool all in black, playing from right to left. 7 minutes into the second half. Diaz on this near side. Stephen Warnock touched upon in the first half. Hill helping out his right back, Frances. Infield he goes to Gravenberg. Now Alexander-Arnold, central position midway through the Girona half. Liverpool really have squeezed Girona in here. They're trying to find a way open. I mean, every red and white shirt of Girona is probably within 30 yards of their own goal. So it's very, very compact. Here is Diaz. The referee almost gets in the way. Manages to get away from the ref, and then Hill. Infield to Salah, lets it run through. Nunez, heavy touch, hooks it into the penalty area. Too heavy, goal kick, 0-0.
Run out of things to say about him. Tried to be positive about Darwin Nunez, but he is the weak link as the ball goes into him. He's not aware of what's around him. Heavy touch. He's hoping more than anything. There's no finesse in what he's trying to do.
I wish that drummer would go back to the end away towards our right.
You were excited when you saw him, and now you're moaning.
I wasn't moaning, I just wish he'd disappear. Gakpo, if he was to come on, there's going to be a yellow card here for
What is that
Luis
for?
Diaz.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Diaz slipped, fell on the floor. The defender then played a ball and ran into him, and Diaz gets booked.
No.
That's ridiculous.
53 minutes, first yellow card shown. Nothing that Luis Diaz could do. You know, when I said earlier on that he was a lenient referee, and I looked at my notes, 4 red cards in his last 8 matches in European competition, but that was a nonsensical yellow card.
He's just saying give him time, Nanaya. Well, there's a couple of changes coming for Liverpool here. It looks like Harvey Elliott and Gakpo are getting readied. They're chatting to one of the coaches on the Liverpool staff and the bench, making sure that they know the jobs. Whether that'll be now mean that Diaz will then go up front, Gakpo will come onto this left-hand side, and then I'm just wondering who he might change in midfield, whether it'll be Jones or Szoboszlai in that central position. But that balance in midfield hasn't quite worked tonight for Liverpool.
McAllister, of course, missing through suspension. Judging by Stephen's words and reactions alongside me to my left, I'm expecting that Darwin Nunez will be one of the players to be coming off, as he tried to turn away from Romeo, and the referee now is showing a yellow card to Oriol Romeo of Girona for that foul on the Uruguayan.
He must have left them in his changing room and then picked them up at half-time, the referee. He's very quick to pick his cards up now and make sure that he's booking players. As you say, very lenient in the first half, let the players away with quite a lot.
Free kick then to Liverpool, still 0-0. They take it short. Van Dijk receives that ball from Gravenberch. Gravenberch now on the ball as well. Out to Luis Diaz on this left-hand side. Infield towards Jones. Jones, though, still can't find a way through. They've got 8 players behind the ball of Girona. Diaz into the penalty area. Beaten to it by Wampe, the central defender. Cleared on the full, only as far as Gomez. Had that early header saved by Gazzaniga. We've been playing for 10 minutes in the second half here on 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Awaiting the first goal of the evening. Robertson out towards Jones, provides the width left-hand side, level with the box. Back it goes then 25 yards out. This is Robertson in the central area. Gravenberch will pass it to the feet of Jones, controls it right-footed, comes on the inside, backheels it to Diaz. Diaz enters the penalty area. Challenge though was made by Frances and just took the ball away from him. Girona now up towards Asprilla. Asprilla running forward, he's after going alone up against 3 black shirts, and it was Szoboszlai as one of them who gets commended by Van Dijk and back towards Alisson. He was going to have to provide something miraculous to get away from that trio of Liverpool players.
Yeah, I mean, they just surrounded him, didn't they? Just made it so difficult for them. But there's a lot of players looking at each other in the Liverpool team here, asking what's going on, as Trent Alexander-Arnold wasteful with a pass. So often he picks the right pass, but this time he's trying to fire a long ball down the pitch.
Girona give the ball away. Gravenberch on the far side, the right, back to Gomez. Jones now outside the centre circle, right-hand side. That double change will be happening soon for Liverpool. Diaz on the left to Robertson. Robertson midway through the Girona half. Gomez forward of the centre circle. Passes the ball with pace and purpose. Out towards Alexander-Arnold. Good cross, headed away. Only partially cleared. Jones, left corner of the area, with his back to goal. Tries to lose Hill, who blocks the first attempt. Comes back to Jones. Goes central. Gravenberch. No shooting opportunity, closed down. Played quickly by Salah. Repelled by the Girona defence. Blint plays it forward to Romeo. Still being pressed by Liverpool. They're still deep inside their own half, but they're trying to beat the press. But Liverpool win it back through Szoboszlai. Then he gives it away. And then at the moment, it will be Daley Blind, but he's been cornered over on that far side. And Girona intent on trying to play out from the back, but they've given it away again with Gravenberch. So Liverpool win it high up the pitch on that far side, the Liverpool right. Still 0-0. This is Van Dijk, central position. Robertson just to his left. Liverpool is the cry from the 462 of the travelling support as Diaz flicks it back along the ground. Robertson with a cross. Wampe heads it out, only as far as Gomez, midway through the Girona half. Back inside to Van Dijk. Still Dinamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0 in the other game in the Champions League tonight. Here is Diaz, edge of the area. Liverpool trying to find a way through. Curtis Jones plays it back. Girona are defending so deep and there's no way out for them at the moment. Here is Gomez, central position, faced by Danjuma. Goes to his right for Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool are having to be patient. Arne Slot watching on in his technical area. Liverpool have the control at this stage. Can they find the penetration? Yet to really test Gazzaniga in this second period. Alexander-Arnold to Salah. Runs away from Blint. Back towards the England right back. Strokes it in field to Gomez. Gomez to Robertson. Robertson's forward ball headed away easily by Wampe. No way through at the moment.
No, but you're using the right word, patience. That's what they've got to be. They can't be wasteful here, Liverpool, because they have got them pinned back.
Here is Jones. Jones, left side of the penalty area. Robertson's first time cross. Wampe's header away. Van der Beek with a challenge on Diaz. The referee tells Diaz to get to his feet. Liverpool are still attacking. Here is Robertson. Gazzaniga makes the save at his near post. He was hit left-footed. And Gazzaniga, two hands, turns it behind for a corner kick. Better from Liverpool.
Yeah, well, Arne Slot down in front of us is asking the fourth official, is it a penalty on Luis Diaz? Boots left his foot. He feels that Donny van der Beek treaded on the back of his heel, and as the ball comes to Andrew Robertson, he just has to square it into the feet of Darwin Núñez, and he's got a simple tap in, but it perhaps falls to the wrong person. And Andrew Robertson gets that strike, and Gazzaniga, strong arms, strong hands at that near post to push it round to safety, but Diaz is still down.
So a bit of concern at the moment. The referee was in, he was certain, he was unequivocal that he told Diaz to get back to his feet. Now at the minute, the French referee is either saying to him, do you want to go off? VAR, you would imagine, well, would look automatically, wouldn't it? Benoit Milo is the VAR official who'll be having a look.
He stands on his heel, loses his boot, and then Diaz, when he doesn't have the boot on his foot, he slips because he's just got the sock trying to get traction on the floor. But they are checking the penalty.
Potential penalty check then for VAR, as the referee, before the corner kick can be taken, is calling Wampe and Virgil van Dijk, the two captains, towards him at the minute. And the referee is coming to the monitor. This will mean one thing. Liverpool will be awarded a penalty, because clearly Benoit Milo, the VAR, has instructed Benoit Bastien he needs to have a look at this.
Yeah, well, Van der Beek's the player who's behind Luis Diaz, and he stands on his left foot. Don Van der Beek's left foot on Diaz's left foot, and then Diaz tries to get the shot away, but they obviously feel that there was enough contact there to impede Luis Diaz. And then Diaz loses the boot, but then also continues to try and get his shot away, and then goes to ground. Is there enough? Will the referee think it's a penalty?
The answer is yes. Liverpool have been awarded a penalty after a VAR check. And Alexander-Arnold has the ball at the minute, but Mo Salah is already waiting for him to be tossed towards him. The Girona supporters aren't happy. Gazzaniga is complaining, but he's being told to get back to his goal line as Mo Salah, who, let's not forget, missed from the spot against Real Madrid. His record for Liverpool with penalties, he's scored 37 of 45. He's already scored 15 goals this season. Liverpool, 5 wins out of 5. All 3 penalties involving Girona in the Champions League this season have been saved. Gazzaniga saved against Feyenoord. Can he repeat his heroics this time? Salah waits. You're listening to 5 Live. 0-0 here in Girona. Salah now begins his run-up. Left-footed, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. A sweet 16 for the season for Mo Salah. And Liverpool take the lead from the spot. He missed against Real Madrid. He wasn't going to miss this time. 1-0.
Yeah, high fives all round from Arne Slot and his staff on the bench as Mohamed Salah beautifully executes that penalty kick. I have to say though, Deno, I think the penalty's harsh. I think it's very, very soft. I don't really think there was that much contact. I think it's a coming together more than anything, but Liverpool won't care about that. They find themselves 1-0 ahead.
Well, you'll be able to see it tomorrow night for yourself. Indeed, Stephen Warnock, on the eve of his 43rd birthday, will be part of the TV highlights team on BBC One. Champions League match of the day 10:40, although the highlights will be available on the website from 10 o'clock tomorrow night. But just past the hour then, 63 minutes in here in Girona, and Liverpool are ahead by a goal to nil. Mo Salah with the penalty. Van der Beek picks it up. Van der Beek now sends over a cross from the right. Loose ball. Blint is onto it, passes the ball quickly towards Danjuma. Danjuma hits this, blocked by Gomez, behind for a corner. We'll quickly check on Celtic and Gavin Wallace.
They've just had a really good chance, two in the space of 2 seconds. Kyogo lunged into a great ball in from Bernardo. It was saved well with the goalkeeper. Cameron Carter-Vickers with a snapshot from 6 yards, blasted it way over. It's still Dynamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0.
Thank you, Gavin. Girona have a corner far side the left, didn't beat the first man, blocked by Alexander-Arnold, comes out towards Gutierrez. Gutierrez now with a right-footed cross, deep inside the penalty area. Szoboszlai will clear on the edge of his penalty area, flags up on this near side. The referee has spotted it, but in fact, it was an offside. Liverpool brought the ball away, Girona started to attack. The referee had acknowledged that he'd seen the flag, and then all of a sudden takes play back and gives a free kick to Liverpool.
Well, he's got to give the offside, hasn't he? Because he hasn't waved play on, he didn't see the flag go up, so he's just taken it back to the action of the assistant referee.
61% possession for Liverpool as we enter the 65th minute here in Girona.
He's opted to not make those substitutions as well, hasn't he? On a
yeah.
slot. I know you've got your stickers ready.
I have. They might not be used. It was interesting, he was asked about, he thought it was correct that the Everton game was postponed at the weekend, but you know, would this have been the side that he would have played had they been involved in a Merseyside derby? He said yes, probably, but you'd never know about the injury situation. But I mean, one of the changes was enforced because of McAllister's suspension for this game here tonight, as Krejci turns midway through his own half and along the ground finds Danjuma on that far side. Gutierrez is running with him on the inside. Danjuma now looks for the run of Gutierrez, just lacks the quality.
He does so many things well, the movements he's got when he's on the ball in 1v1 situations, but what he can't do is he can't compose himself, and he can't pick up that final pass, which is so often the most important pass. It's a frustrating player.
65 minutes played. Incidentally, the BBC are looking for the next generation of sports commentators. The deadline is a week on Friday. Head to the BBC Sport website and look for new voices for further details. And a week on Friday you have to act if you know of anybody who wants to be a budding commentator. Here is Van Dijk inside the centre circle. We're almost midway through the second half. Liverpool lead by a goal to nil. 6 from 6. We've gone now over 8.5 hours of football since they last conceded in the Champions League, as they look to match the runs of 83, 84, and in 2005 of equaling a club record 5 successive clean sheets in European football. Gazzaniga to Blint on the edge of his area, plays it back to the byline for Krejci to clear long. Gomez will head it away from Danjuma, falls to the feet of Asprilla, who's challenged by Gravenberch. He's had an excellent season, hasn't he, Gravenberch, for Liverpool?
Yeah, he has. He's suffered a little bit tonight because he hasn't got his usual partner alongside him, McAllister, who balances things off extremely well.
Blint gets the ball forward, closed down by Gomez. Alexander-Arnold had ventured forward. There was a gap in that left-hand side of the attack. It's a throw for Girona.
I just think that balance is better when McAllister plays and let this ball come in.
Danjuma's low ball stopped in the penalty area by Gomez, and then it's passed out of play for a Girona throw. Girona, who have failed to score in 10 of their 23 games this season. Last season, when they finished third in La Liga, only Real Madrid scored more goals in La Liga, 87 to Girona's 85, but they've badly missing Artem Dovbyk, who scored 24 goals, but they sold him to Roma for £38 million in the summer. Diaz kept the ball in play, and then he was stopped by Frances.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that looked a free kick. And then Diaz is told to get to his feet and no free kick awarded.
Well, if he doesn't think it's a free kick and he thinks it's simulation, Diaz should be off the pitch. It's a foul, though. You can see, why would Diaz go down in that situation when he's beyond the defender and then he's running at 1v1 at another defender going in at goal? Poor refereeing.
Actually, the initial reaction for the penalty was that Benoit Bastien did tell Diaz to get to his feet then.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And he obviously was only told to go to the screen to look at it from the VAR, but he did the same instruction to the Colombian, who had to be careful. Any show of dissent would have resulted in a second yellow. But Liverpool still lead 1-0. Jones picks the ball up central area midway through the Girona half. Just over 20 minutes remaining on 5 Live, the BBC Sounds app and Radio Merseyside. Here is Van Dijk. Jones, little touch, runs in field away from us as we sit midway through this Girona half. As we watch Gomez pass the ball out towards Salah, closed down now by Blint. Right hand side of the penalty area, Salah knocks it nonchalantly back to Alexander-Arnold. And Liverpool at the minute are in full control. As here is Van Dijk, and it's a nice, easy tempo, isn't it, for them? Out to Alexander-Arnold. Salah midway through the Girona half. Looks for the return ball from Szoboszlai, gets it, enters the penalty area, edge of the area. Gravenberch doesn't shoot, passes the ball to the right corner of the box for Szoboszlai. Very tight, intricate, and then given away by Alexander-Arnold behind Szoboszlai and cleared by Krejci.
I don't think I've ever seen Trent Alexander-Arnold give the ball away so many times in a game, and so easy. 4 and 5 yard passing, lack of concentration from him.
Well, mathematically, you would look at it and think, oh, there's still teams to catch them, but we are assured that the 3 points tonight would confirm Liverpool in the top 8 and would mean that they have qualified for the knockout stages, and also with games to come in January for Liverpool in the Champions League, with Lille at home and then PSV away. Another 3 points should guarantee top 2 and for them to be seeded going into the knockout stages of the competition. Gakpo is going to be coming on. Nunez is the player who is coming off.
Yeah, no surprise. He looks very frustrated, Darwin Nunez, as he walks to the sideline, but he can have no complaints. He hasn't been at his best tonight. He's struggled with the link-up play. He's had opportunities to score goals and he hasn't taken them. Another frustrating night for the big Liverpool player.
And we're going to have a double change from Girona. Middlesbrough fans will know this fella, Christian Stuani, who's now 38 years of age. He's the record appearance holder for Girona as he makes his 264th appearance tonight, and also the record goal scorer with 134 appearances. So Stuani gets a great ovation. He replaces Arnaud Danjuma, and the other change coming on was Brian Hill, who has gone off, and Christian Porto has come on, who's in his second spell now, a 32-year-old midfielder. So he has come on, and Brian Hill makes way as Girona and Michel just try and freshen it up, but they're heading for yet another defeat as they'll be heading out of no progression in this competition. 5 defeats from 6. They will certainly be finishing below positions 25 in the nether regions of this extended league format that goes all the way down to 36 teams. Liverpool lead 1-0. Stephen Warnock.
Your drummer's back. Delighted about that. He's come closer to you since you've said that, but a little bit of a change for Girona. Asprilla now onto this right-hand side down in front of us, so it gives Andrew Robertson a little bit of a different test than Hill. He's a little bit more direct in the way that he plays.
Cross from Szoboszlai, blocked. That'll be a Liverpool corner kick. So Gakpo, as he has throughout most of the season, he's staying left. Diaz is the one who's gone centrally. Liverpool have a corner kick.
Yeah, he's been outstanding on that left-hand side, Gakpo. I think Liverpool are a better team when Gakpo's in it off the left and Diaz is down the middle. Obviously, you've got Diogo Jota back in training now. He'll look to build up his fitness and bring more added quality to that Liverpool front line, so more options for Liverpool on the way.
He's got a Ghanaian flag draped over his shoulders, so he's welcome to stay. Akwaba means welcome in Ghanaian.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Well travelled, aren't you?
Corner kick on that far side, swung over from the right. Van der Beek climbs high to head it away. Challenge comes in, referee says no free kick. Liverpool deliver the ball from Robertson on that far side, the right. Here is Van Dijk, lays it off towards Gakpo. Gakpo, who's been in good form for Liverpool, 6 goals in his last 8 games, still leading by 1-0. Here is Gravenberch. Elliott's going to be coming on, so that double change that they just delayed, they waited and they waited. Gakpo's already come on, and Harvey Elliott, who came back from the 89th minute against Manchester City for his first appearance, and only his second substitute appearance for this season, because he's missed large parts of it after fracturing a foot in September for England's under-21s, so he'll be coming on. And there is another double change in the offing as well from Michel, the 49-year-old Spaniard, a former Spanish youth international, as he is looking to try and conjure up a way of a Girona equaliser. But 16 minutes remaining. Don't forget, after this game we'll be going to Leipzig for our next commentary. Aston Villa against RB Leipzig, as Krejci with a back pass to Gazzaniga, offside against Luis Diaz, free kick to Girona. So we're going to see John Solis coming on, who's a Colombian midfielder, only come back in after an ankle injury picked up last week. Yet to score for the club in his second season, and just looking to see who the other change might well be. It's going to be Ivan Martin, who, if you watch the Match of the Day Champions highlights, you would have seen his astonishing miss against Sturm Graz in the previous match day, about 2 yards out, wasn't it?
Yeah, shocker, absolute shocker.
So they're the double change that Girona are going to make as they trail by 1-0. And Liverpool haven't had as many scares second half, have they?
They had a couple early on, didn't they? And then they've managed the game extremely well. They have been better in possession, but they still, that little bit of a turnover in possession, they've struggled with at times, and they've just been turned over there. But Gravenberch manages to draw the foul from Donny van der Beek. And here come the changes.
So first of all, we're going to see Harvey Elliott coming on, and the player going off is going to be Curtis Jones. Liverpool do play Fulham on Saturday, you'll hear that on 5 Live. Then they're away to Southampton next Wednesday in the League Cup quarter-finals. They've got Tottenham away and then Leicester at home in the Boxing Day. Martin and Blint are the players who are going to be coming off. Sorry, Van der Beek and Blint are coming off, Martin coming on along with Solis. So Gutierrez will drop back to left back to allow Solis to come into the midfield. They are missing a number of players through injury, but they really have struggled to replicate their heroics. Arne Slot last night said they were like the Spanish Leicester for what they did last season in La Liga, for competing so long and ultimately finishing third. Liverpool lead by 1-0. A penalty from Salah in the second half. Incidentally, that means that of Liverpool's last 23 goals, 20 of them have been scored in the second half. And this season, when they've scored first, they've won each of the previous 15 games. But a strong run now on that far side by Martin. Carves the ball forward, Stuani was there. Stuani, who's looking for his first goal in the Champions League, never going to get on the end of it. And it's picked up by Alisson. Stephen.
Yeah, just overhit by Martin as he drove down that left-hand side, got away from Harvey Elliott, and then he just tried to bend the ball around the back of Virgil van Dijk. Such a difficult ball with the outside of his right foot. Credit to Alisson, he's so alive to those situations, plays as that sweeper keeper and does it so well.
Liverpool, who've scored at least 2 in each of their last 9 games, looking for the second goal to assure themselves of the 3 points here tonight. Still with a slender lead. They win the ball with 12 minutes remaining midway through their own half. Gravenberch is on it. There's no pressure on the ball at this stage as he edges his way towards the centre circle. And then it's out towards Gakpo on this near side. Szoboszlai makes the run ahead of him. Diaz waits in a very congested central area. This is with Robertson, chipping the ball forward with Gakpo. Up now against Frances, the right back. Gakpo cuts on the inside. His cross is blocked by Frances, loops in the air. The header then by Martin is headed back, flicked on by Gakpo from Szoboszlai. Diaz towards Elliott. Elliott now towards Salah. Salah enters the penalty area, tries to place it with a lifted ball, but it drops wide, out for a goal kick. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, he goes for the far top corner, Mohamed Salah. He just wants that half a yard, and he's trying to bend it, use the defender in front of him just to shield it from the goalkeeper and put it into that top corner. Can't quite do it this time. But Liverpool have been more patient with the passing in the second half. They haven't tried to hit that killer pass straight away. They've just drew Girona out of position as and when they can. And you mentioned it before, that key word, just patience. That's what the game's all been about all night for them tonight.
Well, certainly Girona have had to wait for their moment, their first ever season of European football. And of course, they never faced an English side in European competition. Their previous opponents were from France, from the Netherlands, from Slovakia, and from Austria as well. And yet, in 50 days' time, they'll face their second English opposition when Arsenal come here for what will be the final group matches on January the 29th. Gomez has just been shown a yellow card for Liverpool. Let's get an update from Zagreb. Watching is Gavin Wallace.
Dinamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0, Ian, and Celtic another couple of good chances. James Forrest though sclaffed the shot, it nearly went out for a corner. Celtic tried to recycle but ended up putting the ball out. For all the chances Celtic are getting, they're just not converting. 15 to go, Dinamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0.
See if Celtic can prize a late goal in the last 10 minutes. Liverpool have got their goal. They lead by 1-0 as we have 10 minutes remaining here in Girona. Back it goes to Gazzaniga. You sense, though, from sitting inside the stadium that there isn't that feeling of optimism or confidence that Girona are going to score.
No, I think they're just enjoying the occasion, aren't they? It seems a strange atmosphere because in the first half they created a fair few opportunities, and whether it's just the style that Liverpool have played in the second half, and they've just nullified what Girona have tried to do. But credit to Liverpool the way that they have managed the second half.
Got to say, there was quite the welcoming committee for them when they arrived in Girona yesterday. The Liverpool team, they were lined up 3 deep, looking for autographs and for shirts to be signed by the Spanish public. As Liverpool negotiating these closing stages without any undue pressure on their goal, as Gomez makes the challenge on the halfway line. Romeo's forward ball stopped by Gomez once again. And Martin making the run in behind him, then it's passed towards Van Dijk. Forward then towards Robertson. Gomez. Asked Arne Slot yesterday, I said, you could equal a club record. What have you tweaked? What have you changed defensively? He said, not a great deal. What do you think he's changed defensively?
I think he allows the fullbacks to be closer to the centre halves. I think the 2 centre midfielders, Diaz has lost the ball.
That looked like a foul on Diaz. Stuani lays it back. Martin, shot edge of the area, blocked by Gomez. The referee's not having Luis Diaz at all, is it? That must be at least 3 times where Diaz looks like he's been impeded. As Solis passes the ball then to Frances. Asprilla with the cross, downward header by Van Dijk, hammered away by Szoboszlai. Sorry, I interrupted.
That's okay, Gakpo's on this.
Gakpo with that bouncing ball. Krejci comes across, lifted forward then by Diaz. Krejci did well to head it away from Salah, kept in play on that far side, the right. 5 Live, BBC Sounds and Radio Merseyside. 8 minutes remain, Liverpool lead 1-0. Here is Alexander-Arnold. Elliott, right corner of the area. A Salah penalty is the difference.
I just think the balance of the team, the way that he's got the 2 centre midfielders sat a little bit deeper in front, the control that they have. The biggest thing is that I take out the equation this game, the control in the game has been so much better. They're in here, Liverpool.
Elliott, was that the foul? Yes, it was by Wampe. Over 25 yards out from goal. It's central position, direct free kick, Liverpool lead by 1-0. Alexander-Arnold territory, perhaps?
Yeah, quite possibly. He's wandering over, and Dominic Szoboszlai is also having a look at it as well. He likes that knuckleball shot from distance. Harvey Elliott will also fancy it. He's probably a little bit down the pecking order. Coming back, it is Trent Alexander-Arnold who has the ball under his arm, so it is his range. Gazzaniga will be looking at his wall, making sure that he gets the biggest players in the wall possible.
Incidentally, that Mo Salah goal was his 50th goal in his Champions League career, but in his Liverpool record in Europe, it takes him one away of a half-century of goals. Liverpool's leading goal scorer in European football, and in fact, he's one away from equaling Billy Liddell into joint fourth in the all-time goal-scoring charts for Liverpool Football Club. Szoboszlai's there with Alexander-Arnold. This then is a free kick, central position, not quite 30 yards out from goal, and we have 6 minutes remaining. Girona have everybody back. Alexander-Arnold, saved by Gazzaniga. He couldn't catch it, he dropped it and then clattered the ball away, but it's gone behind for a corner kick to Liverpool.
Yeah, good save from Gazzaniga, good footwork, cross to his right-hand side, two strong hands onto the ball. And Trent Alexander-Arnold asking the question, why is it not a booking? He's just lashed the ball away.
Well, Alexander-Arnold knows that there's another ball on the pitch, but he has ignored that one, and he's got another one from the ball boy, and is waiting, and in fact it's Asprilla who has to come across and to kick that other unused ball off the playing surface, because Alexander-Arnold felt that Gazzaniga, by doing what he did, had delayed the restart. So he's biding his time deliberately here, is Alexander-Arnold, much to the frustration of the Spanish crowd. Alexander-Arnold swings it in, Gazzaniga catches that one inside his 6-yard area, 5 minutes remain. He looks for the counter-attack as he clears long. Porto will give chase. Alisson is out of his penalty area. Szoboszlai had gone back with the substitute, and Liverpool, midway through their own half, have possession once again. 5 minutes remaining, 1-0 they lead.
Yeah, superb from Alisson, just reading the situation, talked about that role he plays as this, commentator's curse, kicks it out of play.
Went past Robertson and out for a Girona throw on this near side in front of the main stand. This tiny stadium, reduced capacity of around 10,000 here tonight, hoping for a late goal. Their first ever season in European competition will be a brief one with the results that they're having, but they'll still celebrate wildly if they could take a point off Europe's informed team. Ball played up towards Martin, right hand side of the penalty area, back towards Asprilla. Asprilla's forward ball overhits it, gathered in by Alisson, who dives forward onto the ground, and we have 4 minutes remaining, Liverpool 1-0.
Yeah, just coming a little bit desperate for Girona, trying to force that pass now into the final third. What Liverpool can't afford to do is make errors like Alisson made and invite that pressure on, as anything can happen in a game of football.
Here is Robertson along the ground, looking for the run of Gakpo. He's being pulled back there by... Not only has he been pulled back, he's trying to take the shirt off his back, is Francis. Yellow card. Chance in Croatia, Gavin Wallace.
Celtic living really dangerously, Ian. Marco Bianca was at his own at the back post. He was up above anyone else and he headed it just on target. It was a great fingertip stake from Kasper Schmeichel just to put it over the bar. Really living dangerously. I really feel it's going to be a late goal here. Dinamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0.
Alexander-Arnold has blasted an effort that was punched away by a diving Gazzaniga. Here is Van Dijk. We have 3 minutes remaining of normal time. Endo is going to be coming on very, very soon for Liverpool. Back it goes to Alisson. Just a question of game management now, isn't it?
Yeah, and he just give the ball away again. Joe Gomez trying to play out from the back, but credit to Ryan Gravenberch winning the challenge in midfield, and now Liverpool are on the ascendancy and coming forward.
Elliott infield to Szoboszlai, leaves it for the stronger running Robertson. Looking for the return from Gakpo. That was blocked. Back towards Gakpo. Left corner of the area. Gets a push in the back from Frances. A little bit off balance. There is Salah. Sends the ball back into the penalty area. Offside. It'll be a free kick to Girona. But 2 minutes of normal time remaining. And Liverpool still yet to have their goal breached in the Champions League since that early effort at San Siro from Pulisic after 3 minutes. Endo is going to be coming on. We wait to see who the player going off will
Diaz.
be. Diaz.
Yeah, I think he's just taking his time coming off, and whether he just feels that Diaz has done enough, or he doesn't want him to pick up another yellow, or pick up a yellow card and then lose him for a game within the Champions League. But I think that tells you everything about this game as well, that Arne Slot wants to just shut up shop and make sure that he doesn't give Girona any opportunities.
The goal from Mo Salah is the 50th goal in all competitions this season, and they're on course for a 12th clean sheet out of 22 under Arne Slot. The Premier League leaders, the Champions League leaders, and stretching that unbeaten run to 18 games from their only defeat of the season some 87 days ago against Nottingham Forest. 60 seconds remain of normal time. Live here on 5 Live as the small section of ultras do the Poznan behind that goal, as Girona clatter the ball long downfield by Wampe. Robertson forced to turn to Allison, finds Endo, takes it high on the chest, under pressure from Romeo, push from behind, free kick for Liverpool.
Yeah, clever play by Endo. Just felt the pressure of Romeo. He was in trouble. He didn't set Robertson first time, which he perhaps should have done. But what he did then was he just slowed himself down and invited that shove in the back, and Romeo bought it.
Only the second time that Liverpool will have won their opening 6 games of a European campaign. In 21-22, they actually won their first 7. Been very, very impressive from Arne Slot, that is for sure. Just awaiting to see how much added on time there will be here as we are going to go into injury time. With Girona 0, Liverpool 1 still the scoreline. Dinamo Zagreb 0, Celtic 0 in the Maximir Stadium. Commentary to come from Leipzig for that 8 o'clock kickoff, RB Leipzig against Aston Villa. Liverpool, of course, have already triumphed in that part of the world for what has been the only side to have maintained a 100% winning start, as Wampe, long diagonal ball out towards that far side. Gutierrez unable to keep the ball in play underneath his left foot. Out it goes for a throw to Liverpool, and there'll be 4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into here on 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Wampe right of the centre circle. Krejci, Romeo. Out it goes to Gutierrez. Gutierrez, who Arne Slot was praising in his press conference here last night in the Estadi Montilivi, as that was a foul on Gakpo. Free kick Liverpool. Stephen.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, the right back Francis. He's just been booked for a cynical foul on Gravenberch before, pulling his shirt, and then this on Gakpo, and then this time he just crashes through the back of Gravenberch. He had no chance of winning the ball. Very, very lucky.
Allison in no real hurry to take it, as the substitutes down in front of us, keeping warm with their Girona blankets across their knees. Allison hits it downfield. Gakpo, little flick header down towards Szoboszlai, tries to get away from Solis, who tidies up back towards his goalkeeper Gazzaniga. Szoboszlai still runs towards him on that far side. Ball played up to Krejci. Gutierrez turns, edge of his own penalty area. 2 minutes of the minimum 4 have been played. Romeo now coming forward, chugging his way towards the halfway line, and then his pass is too far ahead of Frances, and Asprilla couldn't keep it in play. Robertson kicks it off the advertising hoardings, bounces back very quickly for Asprilla to take the throw. Time running out though for Girona, heading for yet another defeat. Romeo plays the ball forward over the head of Stuani and goes straight out of play for a goal kick. And by my watch now, Stephen, we've got 90 seconds remaining.
Yeah, he did well, Joe Gomez, because he just knew Stuani was behind him, just felt him, and then Stuani gave him a shove in the back. He bought the foul, made sure that the referee saw the contact, goes down. Good defending by Joe Gomez, and that should be enough for Liverpool now to see the game out.
You would think so. That Mo Salah penalty. The difference just past the hour mark after a VAR check awarded it from a foul from Van der Beek on Luis Diaz. And Liverpool, only once have they failed to score under Arne Slot since he took charge in that home defeat against Nottingham Forest. Here is Asprilla. We're inside the last 60 seconds. Liverpool lead by a goal to nil. Cross from Francis, downward header by Van Dijk, picked up now by Szoboszlai midway through his own half. Break is on. He's got Salah to his right, Gakpo to his left. He finds Salah, enters the penalty area now. Salah towards Szoboszlai, back towards Mo Salah, takes a deflection, will go behind for a corner kick to Liverpool. The game's safe.
Yeah, lovely flowing move. Szoboszlai there, he just glides across the ground, doesn't he? I was watching other players behind him, trying to keep up with him. And there is a hint here of handball as it comes in from Mohamed Salah. It hits the hand of Romeo, but it is quite close to his side. The arms aren't outside that, what they say, the unnatural position.
This will be the last bit of action. The 4 minutes, the minimum time, are all but up. Liverpool are going to take the corner short on this near side. Elliott to Endo. They're just going to keep the ball down on this near side. There indeed is the final whistle. 6 from 6 for Liverpool. Their perfect start is maintained, and the knockout stages beckon for Arne Slot's side. They've beaten Girona by a goal to nil. A Mo Salah penalty just past the hour. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, not Liverpool's greatest performance, but it's a job certainly well done. Better in the second half. Game management came into the game. A little bit fortuitous with the penalty decision that they got, but the same result as usual for Mohamed Salah. So clinical from the penalty spot. Missed against Real Madrid a couple of weeks ago, but then he comes back, makes sure that he finishes this one, and Liverpool get the 3 points.
And they've also equalled a club record, 5 successive clean sheets. They haven't conceded now in 8 hours and 57 minutes in the Champions League. It's finished in Girona. Girona 0, Liverpool 1.
If you're going to have a successful season, you're going to have nights or afternoons where you just need to get in there, get a job done and get out of there, and that's kind of feels that that's what they've done tonight.
Yeah, they weren't at the best, whether that was missing a game at the weekend and they felt that they were a little bit rusty. I don't think you can blame that. I think you've got to give credit to Girona, the way they went after Liverpool and the way that they played the game. But Liverpool, like you say, not at the best, but they've got the job done, and that's the most important thing.
Soft penalty?
I thought so. I think it was more of a coming together. Van der Beek can't really go anywhere, and he sort of stands on the heel of Luis Diaz, but Diaz tried to continue with his movement to get his shot away. I thought it was a little bit soft, if I'm being completely honest.
That's what I was trying to work out from all the different replays, exactly whether it was what Van der Beek's foot on Diaz's heel, or whether it was his other leg sort of wrapped round him, and that's why it just felt inconclusive, really.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem, isn't it? And when you look at the incident again and he loses his boot, when he goes to stand on the foot that he doesn't have the boot on and it's his sock, he loses traction, he loses that ability to get his standing foot, and he slips. So I don't think it can be that. The only thing I can think is that it's the stomp on the heel.
They're 5 points clear at the top. I know that sides chasing them have all got games in hand, but that is a seriously dominant start to this Champions League. You know, the 5 clear of Inter, 6 clear of Barcelona and Borussia Dortmund, and people might say, well, you know, extended Champions League and this, that and the other, but there are a lot of big clubs who are struggling in this, as we will touch on a little bit later, which probably makes Liverpool's start more impressive.
Yeah, and I think obviously you've got to take into consideration the Premier League, and not much was expected from Liverpool this year. I think within the changing room there will have been a lot of people saying, no, we can go on a good run, we can be dominant in both competitions. Would they have thought it had been to this degree? I'm not so sure, but what we can say is that Liverpool, for anyone, are going to be a very, very tough game this season in both the Premier League and the Champions League.
Stephen, Ian, for the time being, thank you very much. The other